Who is Molly Maguire? That's the question that I've been trying to answer for, I don't know, since 1999. In 1999, I was at this seminar at the National Museum of Women in the Arts, and there was a panel of female directors, and I had just completed a solo show called Till It Hurts, and that was during my, what I like to call, kitchen sink phase, where I included every subject I could think of, and at curtain I envisioned the kitchen sink falling on the stage. And so at this event, I met this woman, and she mentioned the Molly Maguires. And she said she had read a lot about the men, but she didn't know anything about the women. And that's how it began. So I started reading. I read this out-of-print book called Black Rock, which is really interesting. And then I read a lot of mythology. So I wrote Daughters of Molly Maguire, and it was performed in 2000 at the Warehouse Theater in Washington, D.C. There were 6 actors on stage and then 3 musicians, and one of the musicians doubled as sort of the narrator. And so I'd written all this music, and this is the first song that I wrote, and it's called Daughters of Molly Maguire. And it's really coming out of the mythology. Before I ever visited the coal region or anything like that in Pennsylvania, and I thought I was doing a historical piece because all of my work prior to this had been so personal. And another play that I did in the mid-90s, one that I wrote and directed at the Source Festival around 95, was called An Arco Accolade. And I'm sorry, it was called Pizzicato Experiment. Wrong title. It was called Pizzicato Experiment. And that was sort of 4 women, and they didn't have names. They only had letters, and they were just, again, kitchen sink phase of my artistic development. And there was another show there by this guy named Gabriel Schenk. And he ran a company called The Theater Conspiracy at the time, before it was taken over. That's a little DC theater history for you. Anyway, his play had 2 naked men, and they only ever said 1 word at a time back and forth. And so in theater, we have tech rehearsals, and that's when they set the lights and sound. So the tech crew had sort of given our plays titles, and they called his The Naked Penis Play, and they called mine The Screaming Woman Play, which we were both kind of laughing about. And so we had this running bet to see what would frighten audiences more, a naked penis or a screaming woman. And it was a screaming woman. So when I found the lithograph of this Molly Maguire image, it was a woman with her fist in the air. So it's sort of like my screaming woman had come to roost or something. And I became very fascinated, at least with the mythology. And the mythology goes, there was a woman named Molly Maguire who lived in Ireland, and the British constabulary came to evict her, and she started shouting. And so all of these men came, all these Irishmen, and they dressed, in dresses. They showed the next day when she was about to be evicted. All of these Irishmen, the sons of Molly Maguire, came out on these horses wearing these dresses and just sort of just wiped out the opposition. So there was this fear, this vigilante group, the Molly Maguires. And I started thinking about what it would mean to be a daughter of that woman in this kind of mythological almost way. And so I just wrote this song.